jammy fucking door. Hold up. We're in. Hello, listeners. As you can hear, the snow is gone, but the neighbours' kids are out, and the seagulls are about as always. So, but fuck it. I'm gonna do it anyway. So, but it's a bit quieter now since the 5 minutes of me getting in here. So episode 2. Google My Reality. El Solo. So it's me again. On my ones in the shed. Hopefully I've not been gone long enough to be lost, missed or forgotten. But back in time just to be remembered. So here we are. Episode 2, y'all. And as I said, the snow is gone, but the rain is back. And well, if you're back, thanks. So I didn't lose you in the first one. Might lose you in the second, but you might be back for a third. Who knows? And the main thing, well, looking back, the main thing what people said is they're looking forward to the next episode, which is of this one. And that I swear a lot, so I think that's the point of a podcast, really. Like, speak freely, for fuck's sake. If I don't hear that again, that people are looking forward to episode 3, well, fuck it, I'll still do another one. So, but then maybe I know I went too far on this one. I don't really care. So I think I've got to go in with this one. Because let's face it, there's fuck all else to do unless you're stuck in Dubai with some sort of promotional business you're trying to say you got, or you're some sort of elite couple on a super yacht waiting for all this to blow over. But if you're 31 in a shed, this is probably the best you can come up with, or the worst. Or at least interesting, I hope. And yes, I do know that Arnold is Austrian. I don't know why I said German, but I'm trying to do these without, it all scripted or written out, or I'm trying to do it spitballing with a few bullet points and just, go with the flow. So I'm going to make mistakes, but I've listened to him speak for ages and about being Austrian. So I don't know, but I know now he's Austrian, and I still don't sound Austrian. Accents is not my strong point, so I can do a good 3 or 4 maybe, or I think I can. So disclaimer. I'm no expert on the matters I shall be speaking of today. I'm simply in the shed, as I've said, allowing thoughts to flow, and pretty much have no facts. Just what I've seen recently on some documentaries and what I find interesting theory-wise. So let's go. So going back to that, I'm going to try and stop saying so much. But I don't want to say, or, my dad says, or etc., etc. And I don't want to get into any of those habits either. So just trying to stay consistent with the way that I speak through this. But basically, I saw this documentary called A Glitch in the Matrix, and to start this off in the right way, I think I'm going to do a little reading of a speech that a guy called Phil K. Dick, who is the author of many science fiction novels, and I don't think he was the director. I think they used some of his books and ideas, and a lot of his involvement has to do with Blade Runner, The Minority Report, have been based on a lot of his works. And he starts this speech, which it's more like a reading in France, and it's a really annoying one to watch on YouTube because he speaks, then stops, and then a French speaker comes straight afterwards, and that happens probably for about an hour. So it's quite annoying to watch, but it's a good speech. And he basically says at the start, and they didn't think they was going into a speech or into this event with him having this kind of tone. They thought he was going to talk about one of his novels. So I think they was quite like, whoa, okay, this is the scene. So, and he starts with, I will quote, "The title of my address is, 'If you find this world bad, you should see some of the others.' The subject of this speech is a topic that has been discovered recently and which may not exist at all. I may be talking about something that does not exist. Therefore, I am free to say anything or nothing. We are living in a computer-programmed reality." And that's where I come up with the name Google My Reality. I was going to call it Google It. Shut up! See what I mean? They go nuts. It's like 400 of them. Fucking seagulls. We're just going to have to deal with it. It's just going to be an environmental thing, you know? Stick with the environment, or you're part of the environment. Anyway, going way off topic, but I was going to call it Google It. See, they pipe down now. But Google My Reality, I like that. So it is based I'm not going to go all on about simulations, but it is based on simulations and the reality that we are in and what I'm thinking about. So I'm gonna dive straight in. So something I've been thinking about is what happens to all your data when you die. When, say, you've lived like a lavish life right up to 91, and pop, you're brown bread, and all the information that you've gathered over the years becomes you as a clone in some sort of company that can develop it, like that episode in Black Mirror for your missus who lives to 110 and she gets this artificial you. Or will it bring you back to life, but you're again an artificial copy with less function or the emotion of a psychopath? And just bear with me, because I'm just getting started. Or is this data not, we know it's not just on your phones, it's in a Facebook server building 13,000 miles long, but it's also obviously in your brain, and your brain obviously has a lot of data. So, maybe one day we'll have the tech to upload your brain data and translate it. And we can in some sort of ways, in my understanding, but not quite the way that it can be read through, conversations and what you're uploading on Facebook and where you are and location data and metadata. So, where does it go? Or, maybe this is some sort of different experience, and when you die, you wake up and you've only been on a human experience simulator for 10 minutes, and the data you produce pays, I don't know, like a time token, which can be used at all human sim centres across the galaxy. And when you realise that's the case of what this is, what have you really taken from the experience, knowing that you can do it again and again? Because for me, I think time becomes the most precious commodity when you are more acutely aware of your own mortality, when you realise you're going to die someday. But does your data die? That's my question. Like, because we're all new, well, not new, we're not all new, but because the internet's only been going for like, I don't know, 30 years, then so many people obviously have died with data. You know, is it just worthless? It must just be worthless. I should probably Google these things before I start talking about them. But as I said, I've got no facts. I'm just asking questions. I mean, it's all a test. As they say, it's all a game. But no one really fucking knows what it is. Or, you know, I'm not just talking about data. I'm talking about life. But, I mean, the other thing is, I was thinking, is do we know what can be built yet? Where all these Google questions are going, or what can be built from all this data? I mean, I can turn on a PS4 and be Frank or Trevor. I'll never play Michael from GTA because I think he's just a bit shit. And I can, well, I'm usually the one that goes and blows up everything, or goes into an apartment building, or goes rob somewhere. You know, I do what I wouldn't do. But the missions, I blast through the game, and once that's done, then I just drive around, or I just put sticky bombs on things and blow them up, and then cause a commotion and see how many police I can get on me, and see how long I can survive. But that's now, and that's, I don't know, 30, 40 years of gaming, when it used to be, you know, ping pong or Space Invaders. So what will we be able to do, you know, in the world of virtual reality, moving on to simulations? Where's the line if one is real or more real than the other? I mean, the world is pretty fucking crazy as it is, and I think in the last 2 years it's got even crazier. So having 10 other large simulations or simulated worlds to jump in as a host, or be, I don't know, Kanye for the day. They'll sell some Yeezys, or, you know, jump on stage. Or if you want to be really nuts and see what is, I don't know whether you want to go into this guy's head, but Trump or Elon. And this was spoken about on this documentary called The Glitch in the Matrix. This guy, they had a lot of theories about, you know, jumping in and playing a different person, and there's players and non-players. So I wouldn't mind being Elon Musk for a day. I reckon that'd be pretty nuts. He seems like an alien. But I also think, well, to me, the brain is the most sort of technically advanced piece of kit on this planet, as far as I know anyway. And it's the best at processing the data it's receiving with the tools it's got, like your eyes, your ears, your nose, and wherever consciousness is, to understand it, or it's us viewing it. I don't know, etc., etc. And like, I don't know, like a computer, it's reading the environment. The only difference is we believe this environment is real, or reality, and the VR or the gaming world is the unreal, non-reality. I suppose I've been thinking of information and simulation, as we are a creator of our own environments, and at the moment our environment is more digital than ever, stuck in the fucking house. And but it's not at a point where it's more satisfying than the world we're in. Well, it might be a bit more than the one now, but it's still not the same or at the same par at all. And we all know prolonged use on social media or gaming or that series you watch till 5 a.m. only leads to feeling shit. Well, for me anyway. Or I feel like, oh my God, I've wasted so much time. But, live in the real world, dude. I think that's due to, it's not what is social, it's flat. If the world I see in the future is this pod station of VR simulated planets you can go to for an hour and spend a lifetime in the game playing some sorry sod you meddle with for your pleasure and desires and needs, then I don't know, then would this world that we're in now, or the one you step out of, be good? I mean, to lockdown life, that would be pretty interesting. I mean, in lockdown, I could log in and be at a festival back to back, or in normal times, that you could do that anyway. But now, you could be at a yacht party or fucking anywhere. Or if you're in the real world, then you have unlimited cash supplying your damn Balzarian, you could do that anyway. But at the minute, not many people would do fuck all. But in the future, I could be sitting in my room gaining weight from being on some pod bed for days, being fed a Nike VR Gamers food pack, wanting to leave the new world. Then are we just going to be back at the same problem? Desensitised to the real world and never wanting to leave the one we found. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people would love to get the fuck out right now, but some are top players when the system changed and some are not. And going back to Google, it made me think about this film, Ex Machina. I think that's how you pronounce it. But if you ever spoke to me on WhatsApp, or just in general, any text written platform, you understand I'm dyslexic as fuck. So Ex Machina isn't the easiest thing, or really just a daily word you come across. So if I'm saying it wrong, Arnold's Austrian, basically. But it's a good film, and it's about this Silicon Valley kind of tycoon kind of guy that lives far out in this high-tech building house that you can only get a helicopter to. And he's got a company which is, in the world of the film, very similar to Google. And he creates the first artificial intelligent being who's a lady, and he brings a guy to do a thing called the Turing test, and it's a bit fucked up. I mean, it's good. I'm not going to tell you the ending or anything, but there is a part on it which I'm going to read, and basically it's talking about when they're in the lab and they're talking about how he created a conscious brain in an artificial, intelligent, well-dressed, human-looking person thing. And they're in the lab and he's looking at the other guy who's from Harry Potter. And he's also the guy in the Black Mirror one, so it's all kind of working out all right. And what he says is, this is the weird thing about search engines. It's like striking oil in a world that hadn't invented internal combustion. Too much raw material. They didn't know what to do with it. You see, my competitors were fixated on it, sucking it up via monetizing shopping and social media. They thought the search engines were a map of what people were thinking, but actually they were a map of how people were thinking. Impulse, response, fluid, imperfect, patterned, chaotic. So, where is all this data and information going? I mean, we know it's sold to large corps or, many other dark places to target people like me or everyone who might need a new kettle and toaster set or anything unnecessary really that you got to consume. Mind you, a kettle's pretty important, especially if you're British, because we do love our cups of tea. But to my understanding, it's not necessarily just the data, it's the networking around it. I think it's, again, disclaimer, but it's, it's where it is, it's the locations, it's what it maps with and where it goes and how these companies can use it. Metadata, I believe it is. But again, I'm just sitting here thinking, so don't shoot me. But I think we accept the fact that it's not ours, because every time we message on, WhatsApp or take a picture on Instagram with a location or you make a podcast. Not that I think I'm going to be talking about anything that could be sold and make anyone money. Oh God, I can hear some noise outside again. But anyway, or it could be that you email, you're emailing something, or this data's everywhere. You sign up to some shit, that you never use. And then you're forever getting crap from that sign up. And again, not a fact, but to me, nothing is invaluable on the internet. And that's what makes it the future, I think, for these new worlds to be developed. The data being the most valuable object on this planet, now surpassing oil. What is it really worth to the 91-year-old you who's come to the end and you go to sleep for the last time? Not getting too doom and gloomy, but it does happen. And I don't know, maybe it's like that lift moment in Vanilla Sky where Tom Cruise finally realises and he's like, tech support, like shouting it, running through this lobby, and he realises that he's been on this life extension simulation that's gone south, all because of his head. And is that where you get to look at everything you've done and be rewoken from your frozen capsule next to Simon Cowell? Or does some Google executive turn up and have a clipboard or like a USB port, which is then inserted like something out of the Matrix, and then you're discharged of service, or you're rebooted and generated into another life cycle of meaningless data for more meaningless simulations? Well, I have no fucking clue or answers. I only have questions, but what is interesting is 200 years ago, this would be really unbelievable, but I don't know, 1,000 years ago, I think, well, a lot more than that, maybe 1,000. I don't know, I would have to Google it, but I think the Egyptians had something going on for sure, but that's for another episode. But I think now anything kind of seems possible. You know, aliens are real now, apparently. You know, like the Navy keep putting out, and the UN have put out, you know, these tic-tac kind of, they're calling them tic-tacs, and, you know, gravity propulsion systems where these ships go, or spaceships go from like one place to the other in like 60 seconds. I don't know. But I think it's not what are they, it's more who are they is kind of the question. But again, that'll be another episode. But it does seem like shit's got real in the last 2-3 years. Or maybe I'm just looking into it a bit too much, but, you know, aliens. Like, what the fuck? But again, that's like, you know, another question I put into Google and you get 1,000 wrong answers. So it's not worth doing it. You just got to go with things, innit? You just got to keep going, keep learning, and keep trying to understand how fast-paced this tech and everything we're living in now is. Just, there's new companies, there's new apps, there's apps every day, there's another app. You know, you lost your job because it's an app. That was a joke I heard once, it's quite funny. You know, everything's constantly changing and developing into these new things all the time. But going back to the simulation world, if you had a chance to build a world and, you know, like Sims or GTA, would you make it better? Because when you look at GTA, it's pretty fucked up in there. The world they made is crazy, you know. There's jets flying in, you know, there's people dressing up as some weird shit, and then, you know, there's a guy with a rocket launcher and it's pink. You know, that isn't really, I would look at all this world and go, you know what, we've fucked up a little bit. You know, I think I'd learn from the mistakes. So if you had a chance, would you take all the mistakes we've made now and make a better one, a different system? Or maybe the one we're in is just this kind of like history simulation to see how we got to where we're going, you know, or maybe we're just one big test. You know, someone's like, oh, you know, that's how that happened. I don't know, I'm proper waffling now. Trying to think where I'm going. Where is this going? But I don't know. I mean, maybe we should just fucking chill out and appreciate what we have right here, right now. You know, this weird time that we're in. This maybe break for some people, and maybe not for others. Maybe it's even harder. But I think the world's pretty fucking amazing when you think about it. Whatever this is, whatever you believe, we're all on, you know, we're all in the same boat, same game, same Big Bang, same church, just different individual viewpoints. I think if there was any movie to really kickstart everyone in this, sorry, I'm getting cramp. Piles, mate, piles. But if there was any movie to kickstart everyone into a new way of thinking, it has to be The Matrix. where man is ruled by his own creation, turning on him for the very same thing he had, power. And therefore they created a world where he could still live in it and believe the air that he's breathing was real. It all depends what pill you're willing to take, I guess. So, fuck it. I'm putting this clip in there because I don't think I'm really that big that, you know, Apple Music or Spotify are gonna take this clip out. So, and I can't be Morpheus or Neo. I just can't cut the mustard like that. You know what I mean?
Do you want to know what it is? The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more. Follow me.
And by the way, if no one's seen The Matrix, like, we're literally living under a rock at the minute, so go and watch The Matrix. Just go and watch it. So, which pill would you take? I know when summer comes, I'll be taking a few. Party time, y'all. It don't look like I'm going on holiday, but, you know, park meets. Good old park meets. Just miss the festival. But it will come back. And now we're at the end. What does this all mean, you know? Absolutely nothing. Just take it how you want, I guess. It's thought-provoking a waffle. And about what's inside of me or inside of you. And I don't know, who fucking knows. Next week I'm aiming to have my first guest anyway. So I've got about 4 or 5 lined up. And also, if you can get on Clubhouse, because that shit is popping, I'm going to be doing a room weekly, and then hopefully after that I'll get a club. And I've been listening to it a lot this week and finding new people I want to talk to. So, but it's got like this weird system at the minute where, you know, it's word of mouth, and then you only get 1 invite per person or 2 invites per person, so there's a waiting list. So if you know anyone, get them on it and then tell them about In the Shed with me. So yeah, guess next week. Maybe more. I've got a few more, and then eventually you'll get to see my face and someone else's face, and we'll be in the shed. So I can still do it now, but, you know, it's February and I want to work us into this. I've been planning it for a while, so I don't want to rush it. And you know, I've got enough waffle. I'm telling you, pure waffle. And there's never going to be half-arsing about. It's all or nothing from now. And if you didn't like this one, well, it's not going to be a subtle ride. So, but yeah, sign up to Clubhouse. It's decent. So thanks. Thanks for listening on this one. Might have been a bit longer than the other. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you're having your cup of tea in your zoot, or you're just driving somewhere, whatever you're doing. Till next time, peace.